Hello, baseball fans. Welcome to another episode of 6 Inning Stretch. We're coming to you from the Sports Interaction Studio. That is Whitley David Merrifield, a Gamecock legend. How are you today?
I'm great. The Gamecocks are now 0-0 going into 2026. That's where our focus is. We don't, what's in the past is in the past. Who cares about what happened in the past? You're worried about being where your feet are and looking forward into the future. We're 0-0. We're excited. And it's basketball season. So now we're Demon Deacon basketball fans. Yes. So everyone that was following South Carolina Gamecocks now get to jump on the Wake Forest Demon Deacon bandwagon. Big game. It's Tuesday night. Or it's Tuesday right now. Big game tonight against the Oklahoma Sooners. We're excited. And go Deeks.
I will act like I'm excited for this. I definitely need to research that team a little bit more, but we'll get our info for you. And while we're not going to go too far back, we have a lot of questions. I believe what the kids call this is a banter pod. Although you were teaching me the lingo this week, making fun of me that I didn't know Gucci or gang, how to use this in a sentence. And I feel like I'm not alone, but man. And then you're like, go read a book. I'm like, that's the issue with is I read. I don't know anything cool.
You don't really write books. You watch a music video.
Okay. Oh, well, I used to love when they would play music videos on TV. It was a thing. When we get to, obviously we're going to talk baseball. We have a lot of fan questions, which is why we're doing the episode this way, because there's been so many over the last month. LSU, have you been following what's been happening with the head coach? And did you contact Gosman about this?
I haven't talked to Gossi about it. I know he's fired up, but it's a reality show. Ooh. It's the real housewives of college football coaching. I mean, I'd never seen anything quite like it. And I've been around the college football world my whole life, and I had never seen anything quite like what transpired over the last week.
Yeah, from reporters having to go through a field in a van to try to get him to the coaches. What is it? Is it Kiffin? Who I can't even
Kiffin. Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, his clothes being thrown outside of where he was working. It was Ole Miss, right? I don't follow college football that
Correct.
much. And
OLE.
Ole Miss. And just like the media circus, but also the fans in that area lining up outside the airport to tell him he sucks and is a terrible human being is just. We don't have that fandom for college sports in Canada, so I'm always so entertained, but I just did not see it going this way. This is, you're right, the kind of best reality show because I'm not involved in it in any way possible. So I can just eat popcorn if it wasn't such a terrible snack and watch what's happening.
Yeah, like I said, I'd never seen anything quite like it. There's a commercial that runs down here in this part of the world where it promotes SEC sports. It shows all the schools and everything, and their line at the end of it is it just means more. It is true. Like this part of the country, the SEC, it is unlike any passion that I've ever witnessed in my life. It's insane. I mean, people shoot each other over the rivalries down here. Yeah. It's I imagine it's like a European soccer feel with a Southern America twang vibe to it. A couple more shotguns involved. It's unbelievable. And when you have something like what happened, you got kind of a pompous, pretty boy, attention grabber kind of coach that's a really, really, really good coach. Mm-hmm. Probably top 3 coaches in the sport, who had a little carousel of coaching history, landed at Ole Miss, and has really done an incredible job with that program. Not a program that's not known for being a good football team. They've had a couple of good years. I don't think they've ever been to an SEC championship. So they're not known for their actual football team. They're actually known for the tailgate. The tailgate is one of the, I think Sports Illustrated did a thing a couple years ago about like top 15 sporting things that you have to do before you die. And the Grove is what the name of the Ole Miss tailgate zone was number 7 on the list behind number 6 was running with the Bulls. So it kind of shows you what football is like down there. So anyway, he took that program and he made it this incredible thing, and people are passionate about it now. They're about to be in the college football playoff.
Without him.
And right at the peak, LSU said, "Here's a bag of money. Come to us." And he said, "Bye." And he's not even coaching in the playoffs. So A lot of people in that Mississippi area quite upset, rightfully so. I would be. If this happened in South Carolina, this whole show would be me yelling directly at the camera about what just happened.
But it's not.
So
It's in Toronto, and I bet you people
feel
are
bad.
yelling at wherever they're listening. So like, why aren't you talking about the news that just became official? So
Oh yeah,
we'll get this
sorry
into
about that.
yes. As soon as we started to film, they made it official that the Toronto Blue Jays have signed Dylan Cease to a 7-year deal worth $210 million. And Whit, this is the little part you didn't know, is that Dylan, alongside Ross Atkins and his attorney Scott Boras, will host an introductory press conference at the 2025 winter meetings in Orlando, where you and I will be. I don't know if we'll be there when this actually happens, but what do you make of this signing, the money that is there? How does this improve the Jays rotation?
I think it's a great signing. I think Dylan is an incredible pitcher. He's a workhorse. He's durable. And he's a proven guy that's going to be top, if not top 3 guy in the league every year in strikeouts. So now you have your 1 and 2 are these 2 strikeout dominant pitchers that you have spearheading your rotation, and you get to have these 2 guys help bring up a guy like Trey, who's just kicked the door down in the postseason. So I think it's a great signing. Do I think it's an overpay? Absolutely. That's why he signed in November, because Boris was like, hurry up and sign the papers before they changed their mind. That's not a bad thing. I've spoken on this before on here, and people get upset when I say this, but it's the truth. So I don't know, you can get upset if you want, but there is a stigma around playing for the Blue Jays, not necessarily playing for the Blue Jays, but playing in Toronto. And that comes with the taxes are bad and the travel sucks. And that is something that is known with players. And so I've said before, if you're Ross and you're Mark, you can either sit back and deny it and say, well, they're going to want to come play for us because they saw how great the fans were in the postseason and how we were right there to winning a World Series. Okay, yeah. I mean, that might move the needle a little bit, but there's still that stigma of, I'm going to lose a bunch of money in taxes versus if I went and played in Florida or Texas or Arizona or somewhere like that. The travel is significantly worse than if I were playing in an American team. And that's just part of it. So what you have to do is you have to counter that with aggressive offers. And this is exactly what they did with Dylan. And I think it was a great move. And it's not just Toronto. Like, there's stigmas with other places too, like Seattle. Like, people don't want to go play in Seattle because it's way over there, and every trip that you go on is a 3-hour plane ride. So there are different obstacles that different cities have to overcome if you want to sign big time free agents. And credit to the Blue Jays for doing that. And like the overpay thing, who cares? Like, who cares? Like, it's not like
I'm not paying for
fantasy football fab money where you have $100 to spend, and if you use your $100, that's it. You got no more money. You can't go sign anybody else. No, you get taxed. And shout out to the Rogers for owning a lot of things and having a lot of money to shovel out, and hopefully they continue to do it, because I guarantee you the money they're seeing roll in from this amazing playoff run they just had is like, they're like, whoa, we should do this more often. And so they're going to continue to push to have the best team that they can. And I think Dylan is probably, I don't think they'll have a bigger signing than him, but I think he's just kind of the start of it. I think they're going to have another couple impact signings, and it'll be an exciting time to be in Toronto.
I'm pretty sure there's like 8 fans on deck questions about this, but would Bo be a bigger signing than this? The rumors, I know.
From a fan standpoint, yeah. I think from a fan standpoint, Bo would be a bigger signing. I think from an impact standpoint, probably not. And that's not a knock on Bo. That's just a knock on how good Dylan is as a pitcher.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I was so surprised when this came out, especially because I don't know if we spoke about it, but because it's one of Scott's clients, and usually we don't hear news from his clients until much later, and it was before winter meetings. But hey, I am not mad right now. It's not my money, and I'm happy he's going to a team that I cover and I love.
Like I said, Scott was like, "Dylan, you sign the papers right now before they change their mind."
This time of
But
year,
like,
yeah.
good for them. Good for both sides.
This time of year, I kind of hate. It's not because there's not baseball, but when it's surrounding free agency and signings in Major League Baseball, there's so much inaccurate headlines, speculation, and garbage. But this is any time of year when it's like, hey, it's NBA trade deadline or NHL hockey trade deadline there. It's like people are just speculating, and so much of it is wrong. And it's because they need to have content. So you have been surrounded in different scenarios and rumors throughout your career, but I remember in March of this year, there was these reports that the Yankees were interested in you and that it was so close to happening. How true was this?
It was 90% true. The Yankees were interested. They did offer me a contract. I would have. There were 5 teams that I would have gone and played for. Atlanta. I think I've said this before on here, but it was Atlanta. It was New York, the Yankees. It was Boston. It was Toronto, and it was Kansas City. Those are the teams that I would have gone to play for. I had offers from the Yankees, Atlanta, and Boston. We talked, but didn't get an offer. So I had an offer from the Yankees and Atlanta. And based on where I was in my life and where I felt my passion to continue to play and my talent level, where it was, and what I needed to do to get to be a good player, and my willingness to do that was not great. There was a number at each stop. New York, like I talked about with Toronto, New York was a higher number because the taxes and living in New York City wasn't appealing to me, so I needed the number to be higher. And so I set my number with them, told them that this was my number, and I'm not budging off it because I'm not. And they gave me their number, and so if it was close, it's because they were talking behind the scenes about moving to my number. Whether or not that happened, I don't know. So I can't tell you if it was close or not. But they did offer me. New York was one of the teams involved, and so that rumor was, I guess, fairly true, which is, I guess, pretty rare in the world of 24/7 news. It's sucks. I hate that it's always about who's first and who's got headlines and who's doing this and who's doing that versus
being
what
accurate.
happens. Because I would say 75% of the time, anything that you read is not true.
Yeah, unless it's from me and I spell it incorrectly, then that is correct. And one thing that was not true, and shame on Forbes online, because their headline that they would get you to click on was that they're like whatever Jose Barrios' contract is. It's like, I'm going to say $110 million pitcher has been cut from the Blue Jays. And when you click on it, it says could be cut with this Dylan signing. And I was like, F you. Because first of all, like, what? How? I did not know. Like, yes, obviously there's rumors and all this talk about Jose the last couple of months, but that was so not accurate. It just really pissed me off. But in Jose's contract, he has an 8-team no trade clause. Whit, this is something that people have been asking me to ask you. How does this work? Did you ever have this in one of your contracts? And like, how, like, can they easily break this?
I never signed a no trade clause just because I was never in a position to sign a big enough deal where I could leverage in a no trade clause into my contract. But I mean, basically, if the team agrees with you, you get to say where you don't want to go. And I don't know what Jose's teams were, but I'd imagine it was like Sacramento and probably Seattle or, places that are far away, maybe cold. Minnesota, probably we didn't want to go back to Minnesota. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just speculating where his no trades were, but that's kind of like where it comes from. For me, it would be places on the West Coast because I'm an East Coast guy. It'd be, I don't want my family to have to stay up till 10 o'clock every night to watch me play or just to start the game at 10 o'clock. So that would be kind of what would go into it for me. Obviously, you try to avoid the high tax bracket areas just because you don't want to get taxed a lot, and that's just the way of the world. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, and you can break it easily. I mean, a team can come to you and say, "Hey, this team's on your no trade list, but they want you. Would you mind waiving your no trade clause and going to play for them?" And depending on what's going on with the situation you're in, a lot of guys will waive that.
Interesting. Very interesting.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm curious what's happening there, but I'm still mad at Forbes. Like I mentioned, winter meetings. I've never been. I'm excited. I have no idea what's going on or what to expect. But Whit, when you were a player, how much attention did you pay to the winter meetings? Like, is this something you guys would be watching or care about?
Well, early on, yeah, early on in my career, because there was early in my career, there was still a lot of movement that happened at the winter meetings. A lot of signings happened then. A lot of free agents would go to the winter meetings and meet with the GMs and I say free agent, a lot of higher free agents. That would be when they would do their rotation of meetings with the teams, and then so a lot of movement would happen then. Over the last couple of years, that's become less and less for whatever reason. Either teams not being as aggressive early or free agents holding out. So it's, I mean, I hope it's a active winter meetings this year. It hasn't been the last couple of years. What you should expect is just a hotel lobby full of everybody that you can imagine in the baseball world. I mean, you'll see Ken Rosenthal, and then uh, you'll see Mark Shapiro, and then you'll see
Mark, come on our podcast.
You'll see managers, you'll see coaches, you'll see front office, you'll see media, you'll see players, everybody, and everybody just kind of hanging around, having a drink. Teams have different suites throughout the hotel, and so if you got a meeting with that team, you just go up to their suite and bounce around, and yeah, it's just kind of like a big frat party for 4 days.
I don't really know how to think about that. It'll be interesting.
I say frat party. Yeah. I mean, it's probably a bad
because like in a way, I was like,
but
this sounds kind of boring because I'm not going to be in
it's
any
very
of those
boring.
meetings. And I was like, you say frat party, I'm like, that sounds so boring. But I'm excited because we'll be where the action is happening in the baseball world for at least a couple of days. But there was a headline that was published about how the MLB and MLBPA have released their annual drug testing results. And it's funny because multiple people were sending this to me in my DMs or text being like, ask Whit about this. How often are you guys tested?
We have drug testers in the locker room 3 days a week, at least.
What?
It's not everybody's getting tested 3 days a week. It's random. It always seemed to happen for me every time I would have like a big game or hit a couple homers that week, or had a bunch of extra base hits. It would be like, oh, what's getting tested? And that's kind of the running joke with anybody. If anybody has a big game or a big stretch, it always seems like that's when they're getting tested. So and whatever. I think the drug here's my spiel on the drug testing. First of all, I think the drug testing is great. I think if you get popped for steroids, I think the punishment should be far greater than it is. I think you knowingly cheated. You don't take this. You get the stuff you get popped for. You don't take it and not know you're taking it. You don't go to GNC and get a protein powder and it has this stuff in it that they're testing for. So anybody that says, "Oh, I went and got cough syrup and it had this in it," and blah blah blah, that's bullshit. I mean, you know exactly what you're doing. So if you get popped for steroids, I think you should be suspended for at least a year. It's an act. It's known cheating, and I don't think you should be able to be in the Hall of Fame. I don't think any of this stuff should happen because you're actively doing something to cheat and put yourself in a better position than other players. So I would be much, much, much more strict on the steroid users than what is happening right now, and hopefully they do get stricter on them. But anyway, so what happens with the drug testing is it's either before or after the game. The problem we have as players isn't necessarily the drug testing itself. It's when they come and do it. And they just fixed it my last year there about the dilution of the pee. If you were too hydrated, the pee wouldn't register. And so that was the whole thing. It's like, well, all they're knocking down our throats from a nutrition standpoint is the hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. And so now I do that and I get drug tested and I pee, my pee is too diluted. So I have to sit there and wait. You can't leave once you start. You can, but the drug tester follows you around. And so make sure that you're not doing anything sketchy. And you can't leave the facility until you've completed the drug test. So if you pee, it's too diluted, you have to try to pee again. If the game starts, when the game's over, you have to go in and pee again. If you're too diluted, you have to wait again. And so there's been times where people have stayed at the facility till 2, 3 in the morning doing these drug tests. But I will say they did in 2024. They somehow scientifically made it to where your pee could be more diluted than it had been in the past, so that helped. But the other thing that pisses players off is when you have a travel day. A lot of times, drug testers would come in after the game on a travel day. So when the game's over and say it's a Sunday and you're going to somewhere else, so you're going to Boston, you get in, you pack your bags, and the team's trying to get out as quick as they can because you want to get to your next city at a decent hour. So maybe you can go have dinner, or you just don't want to roll in at 11 midnight. So when drug testers are there, it takes another 30 minutes, hour, depending on the dilution of the pee. Could take 3 hours. And so now everybody's sitting around waiting on the guy to pee. And so they need to do better about the timing of when they come in and the dilution of the pee, which I think they are getting better at. So it's not the drug testing itself, it's the process in which they go about it. And you have a 55-year-old bald-headed man like looking at your crotch as you're peeing. So that takes a little bit getting used to, but it's yeah.
I think you just ranted about pee for 10 minutes, so I'd like to call this podcast pee.
You want to know a fun caveat too?
Bring it on.
You can't. So once you have been assigned to get drug tested that day, you can't go to the bathroom, until you pee. So say it's like first thing in the morning, you had your cup of coffee, and it's time to release your bowels. You have to do it and open the door. The door has to be open, and you have to be sitting on the pot with your cup in between your legs while the guy watches you do all this. So that happens. Some people would do it on purpose because they would get pissed off at the drug testers. It's not their fault. They're just doing their job. But they would come in and be like, "Well, sorry, guy, I got to take a shit today." The door would be open, and that's real. That happens. The drug testers are the real warriors. Those guys go through it. They see a lot, and they go through a lot.
And they smell a lot, apparently.
Yeah.
And
they're always set up in the bathroom, and so you always have your guys running in and just, noises and smells and stuff. It's those guys. Those are some grinders. Those drug testers are. Yeah. How about that visual, huh?
I'm so upset because I did visualize you sitting on the can.
I never did that. Fortunately, I never was in that position of my day to where I can't help it, buddy. This is what's gonna have to happen. But yeah, it definitely happens.
This segment presented by Sports Interaction Sportsbook and Casino. Every game is your game when you bet with Sports Interaction, Canada's homegrown sportsbook. Whit, what do you got for us today?
It's college football. It's championship weekend. So we're going to go start with the SEC because the SEC is where you always start. It's the benchmark. It's the standard. So we're going SEC championship, 4 o'clock, Atlanta. The Dogs are hot. The Dogs are playing the best football of anybody in the country right now. Minus maybe Ohio State, but the Dogs are in the SEC, so they're going to have the notch. But they're playing Alabama. Bama's not just kind of squeaking by, so I like the Dogs at minus 2.5 at 4 o'clock. Win that bet. You feel good about it going into the fourth quarter. Go ahead and take your winnings and put it on the Duke, Virginia over. Not a lot of defense going on in that game. A lot of offenses playing pretty good, so take your losses from last week. Apologize about Detroit. Didn't know they were that bad. But this is a bounce back week. This is why you gamble.
We'll see what happens. I'm hoping for a better outcome for everyone as well. Sports Interaction Sportsbook and Casino has you covered with pitch-by-pitch live betting and easy deposits and payouts. Every game is your game when you bet with Sports Interaction. Go to sportsinteraction.com/BJN. Open an account. You must be in Ontario and 19 or older. Please play responsibly. Well, we have a lot of fans on deck questions. Before we get there, I would like to ask you about what looks like a custom sweatshirt, hoodie.
Yes, how about this?
Yeah.
Shout out my guy Graham Russell in Toronto sent this to me. Graham works at the TaylorMade in Toronto, and we got to become friends. He went and I did a fitting up there for my clubs and helped me shave at least a shot off my game because of them. But he texted me the other day. He was like, hey, Tiger Woods, golfer.
Tiger Woods, y'all.
One of the best of all time. Probably the best of all time. Came out with his golf line called Sunday Red.
Wow.
Graham said this to me. He said, hey, Tiger was such a big fan of you that he came out with a custom sweatshirt to commemorate your time with Kansas City and Toronto. It's blue. It's got 15, light blue. So, I mean, I'm not surprised, but it was nice of Graham to send this to me.
Me either, and it looks like you haven't released your bowels because you're full of shit right now. What?
Yeah, really, this is Tigers majors. It just so happened that it came in the colors of the teams that I played for, and so I'm claiming that Tiger made this for me. But
yeah, I'm also going to claim that. That is really cool. That's big time. You're big time, and you're having your golf tournament this weekend. There's a lot of big time names, and I'm excited for it. We have like some Blue Jays greats like Russell Martin. I am a huge fan. He's beloved. What are you excited about? Are you going to cheat and win your golf tournament again? Like, what are we doing?
No, I'm excited. We've kind of had a really unfortunate weekend to put it on because apparently this is the biggest weekend of all time for weddings. We've had. I mean, you can't imagine the number of people that I've reached out to play in this thing, and there are no less than 75 weddings happening this weekend that people are having to go to that they can't make it to the golf tournament. Besides that, there are people that are having babies.
Girls.
They can't leave their wives for 3 days to play golf with their wives in labor for some reason. And then there's some injuries. Some guys are hurt and can't come play in it. So our showing this year is not what we were hoping for, but it'll still be fun. We'll have a good time. Hopefully the weather's good and you still get to go and play for some money, play for your friends' money. So that's always fun. And then I've been there for a whole week because I got my tournament, and then we have the pro tournament, which is all four major sports. And that's another tournament going on in Orlando that piggybacks right up to mine. So I'll be there for a whole week playing golf.
You want to know the worst part about that is I'll be there for half a week watching you play golf. We're going to be capturing behind the scenes moments. I'm going to be at your golf tournament. Then we're going to the other golf tournament to see how much, you can actually live up to that hype you have surrounding yourself. And I'll basically follow you watching you be a golf influencer.
There's no bigger hype than my golf in my head.
I know. I did love the video. Sad. If you haven't seen it, go to, I think it might be on Instagram and TikTok, but on Whit's TikTok, it's hilarious commentary on his game. And I wish I could even hit half as good as you, but whatever. I don't want to make myself feel bad. So we're going to go to fans on deck right now. So the first question is from Terry, who asked you, who is a better golfer, you or Ernie?
Me.
Okay, Matt.
Next question.
I said Frosty.
I will say Ernie's a stud. Ernie's a really good golfer, and he has beaten me in the past. But I mean, come on.
Can I just add to the lore of Ernie? I went to Rochester, New York for the first time in my life last weekend, and I interviewed him. It's the first time I saw him since the end of the World Series, and he was signing autographs in his hometown, and it was supposed to be an hour. And an hour before that was supposed to start, the lineup went up the stairs, down massive long hallways, through the parking lot, through another parking lot. Over 1,200 people showed up. They had to cut the line off, not to Ernie's doing. And every single person, he was smiling, he was signing, he was, having a fun little banter with them, just like a wonderful human that understood that the people there were so excited to see him and just gave them the time of day. And he smiled the entire time. He never complained once. So I know you would have.
We tried to tell people in, what was it, June or July, how great of a human. Yes. That's why Ernie was he our first or second? Who was first? He or Gossi? I think it was Ernie.
I think it was also Ernie.
That's why he was our number one.
Yeah, we were already on the Ernie train. We know what's up. But
been on the Ernie train.
Yeah, that's true. Just what a good guy. Okay. Question 2. I'm pretty sure I wrote the name down wrong, but maybe their Instagram when they sent me the message was Frosty. What is your career low golf score?
I have shot 68 3 times. I had a great round going at my home course. This was about 2 months, no, month and a half ago, where I shot 30 on the front and got started getting really nervous about it because I'd never been that deep that early before. And then went bogey on 10, bogey on 11, did birdie 12, but ended up I needed a par on 17 or on 18. to shoot 67 and have my career low, and I freaking bogeyed it because I'm mentally weak when it comes to that. I got to get stronger.
I'll help you out this weekend. I'll be yelling at you for every shot that you have. Devin asked, apart from a starting pitcher and shortstop, second baseman, what do you think is the biggest gap for the Jays that they should fill?
Well, I mean, bullpen arms are never a bad thing to go and get, especially with the way the game is played now. I will say that the Jays have done a great job of getting starting pitchers that are able to go deep into the games. Whether or not they go as deep as they should every day is another conversation to have. But when you have starters that can go deep into games, it helps your bullpen and helps your bullpen stay healthy, so you don't really have to have as many arms as other teams do that only go 4 innings a day with their starters. But I would say bullpen arms. I might have a little birdie on my shoulder that told me that Brad Keller has been a hot name with the Jays, which would be awesome because he's a stud and he's the best. And I would love to see him in Toronto blue. But there's some. I know Devin Williams just signed, but there's some big arms out there bullpen wise that are always good to have, and I would imagine that would be. I think starting wise, they might be done. I would like for them to see if they could get Bassett back, maybe even bring Bassett back as that like 6'7" guy in the bullpen. He did a great job of that in the postseason. So that was an accident. But I think he's at a point in his career where I think, especially a place like Toronto, I think he would be willing to take that on. I haven't talked to him about this, so hopefully I'm not putting words in his mouth. But that would be a fun thing to see if Toronto were to sign him as the long guy in the pen or even a leverage guy, because he was really good at that. So I think it might be a challenge that he's willing to take on. So let's maybe keep an eye out for Bassett. Vegas odds on Bassett, or I would take that bet.
Oh, me too. It's the one time I'll listen to you. All right, let's go to our Instagram questions that a lot of people put in. We're going to go with 8 right now. We saved a couple for another time. MJ, do you play basketball?
I did play basketball. I loved basketball. Basketball was my favorite sport to play. I wanted to be a football player, basketball player, and then like way down the list, baseball player. But I was just the best at baseball. I was too small to be a football player. I was too white and yet not white enough to be a basketball player. I did everything good, except what I'm supposed to be good at, and that's shooting. Got to be a good shooter if you're a white guy. And I wasn't big enough for what I was doing to be good at. You know, I could get to the rim anytime I wanted to. I just had a hard time finishing because I couldn't get up and stuff into somebody's face. But I was really fast. I was quick. I was a good defender. I could really handle the ball. Just too small and not wide enough to do anything with basketball. And baseball just sort of happened. So yes, I loved playing basketball. I haven't played a lot lately. Last time I played, somebody blew his Achilles out, so that's kind of haunted me. But I was actually talking to a buddy of mine a couple weeks ago about maybe joining like a men's league, playing some pickup hoops, because I do love basketball. I love chirping in basketball. Yes. I'm a big chirper, if you didn't know that about me. But I love just chirping.
We need to live stream those games. So long story short, the answer was no to that one. Scott.
The answer is no now. I haven't played lately. I do love playing, and I will play again, but I have not played in the last 2 years.
Okay, that's not that long ago. Scott, what made you choose Tequila as your walk-up song?
It was like the first time in my career where I was really struggling hitting, and we had just played Colorado. And if anybody had ever been to Colorado game, Charlie Blackmon had one of the coolest walkout songs where I forget the name of the song, but everybody sings along, like they're playing it, and then it shuts off, and then everybody continues to sing the song. And so I thought that was really cool. It was the first time I'd seen that. And I was like, I want something like that. So there was a couple songs that I thought about, and I just watched The Sandlot like recently, and I was like, I'm gonna do Tequila. maybe people, and some people did like it, and some people were like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I was like, "Dude, I'm in a bad place. Just let me try to be." And I did okay with that as a walkout song. And then it just got too corny.
I believe Charlie's song, according to the internet, was Your Love.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Very
It
cool.
was cool. It was
But
really cool.
tequila. That was the first thing I ever interviewed you about, Whit. You do not remember it, but I have the video as I asked you, what is with your walk-up song? It brings me so much joy. I know.
Yes.
Great, great question. Mel says, this is actually a joke question because when I put this out on Instagram, she was standing beside me. She says, if Julianne Hough isn't your celebrity crush anymore, who is?
My wife. Duh. I didn't even know other women are attractive anymore.
I just lost
The
$5.
correct answer would be Margot Robbie.
Oh, yeah. And she has an accent.
Yeah, it's such a
And she's,
great
you know what? She's an accent and she's very talented. That's why we both have said she's a great celebrity crush.
I really appreciate all of her work. Yeah.
Finish the sentence.
That's the real reason. The variability in her acting is a real turn on.
I don't want to hear you talk about being turned on. Deb, when you were on the Jays, what was one of your funniest stories? Give me a funny. You know what, Deb? I'm going to tell you. Go watch episode 1 of 6-inning Stretch that came out in July because Whit has a lot of funny stories from his career, and he'll continue to share them. So I'm going to save you answering that right now. Here's another question: if you were a free agent, what are some of the top things you would prioritize?
Aside from money?
Yes.
It depends on where I was in my career. I was 27 as a rookie, so when I got to free agency, I was not going to be in a place where I was going to be signing something like long term. I would love to have stayed in Kansas City my whole career. I think I've said that before, but I think that would have been really cool. But when it was made clear to me that that wasn't going to happen, it was nice to go a couple other places that were bigger markets. I really enjoyed being in a big market. I enjoyed being on the East Coast, close-ish to home. That was cool. So I would say, like, for me, I know going into my one free agent year, even though it didn't quite go as planned, I was looking for a championship caliber team because I hadn't won a championship. That was on the East Coast and in a big market. And Philly ended up checking all those boxes. Unfortunately, I didn't check that box because I played like Helen Keller. It wasn't good.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so those were kind of my check marks for the time in my career. Had I'd have been 24 versus 34, then it would have been a whole different thing. I'd had to look at like farm systems and kind of, can we have sustained success, and can I not be somewhere where it's 30 degrees when I'm playing in early April? And taxes, I don't want to. Yeah. These guys, if you're signing 1 or 2 year deals, I know people are gonna roll their eyes because we're talking about millions of dollars, but the 1 or 2 year deal guys don't get as affected. But if you're talking these guys signing these big $100 million, hundreds of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts, you get somewhere like California, New York, Toronto, you're looking at tens and tens of millions of dollars that you're losing to taxes versus if you go somewhere else. So people are not going to be happy with that, but people think about that.
They're also going to be thinking about your pee breaks when it comes to drug testing and drinking too much water. But what top 4 favorite movies that don't involve Margot Robbie?
Well, that's a whole different list then.
Yeah.
Heavyweights is number 1. Yes. Heavyweights is my all-time favorite movie. I love that movie. I can't wait to watch it with my daughter.
I love Ben Stiller in that.
Yeah. I'm a big Ben Stiller, early Adam Sandler fan. I love Billy Madison. Love Dodgeball. All these like stupid comedies, kind of right up my alley.
Shocking.
When it comes to like a more serious movie, Forrest Gump. Was a big fan of Forrest Gump. Favorite sports movie? Probably Remember the Titans. Yeah, started a rumor in middle school that I was dating Hayden Panettiere, the little girl in that. Yeah, that was fun.
Well, hold on.
I've
You
told
gotta
you before,
also say how old you were, because it just
loser.
sounded like you made up that you were trying to date a little girl when...
I said middle school. I said in middle school we started that rumor.
Yeah, it sounds like you lied.
Actually, it might have been like early high school. I think it was middle school.
You're Nick Carter's
why? I don't
friend.
know. I don't know. I told you I was a
You just wanted to be
loser back in the
loved.
day.
You just wanted to be loved.
Exactly. That's probably what it was. Little man syndrome, because I was really small back then, and I'm a big boy now.
Can we clip that out and put that online, please? What I love about this podcast, and anytime I talk to you, is I can ask you any question and you're just going to answer it however you want. I asked you your top 4 movies and you're going down like different genres. I think you've named 12.
I named like 5. Come on. Oh. You count like my daughter. 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, on that note, we have so many more questions that were sent in for you, but we're already out of time. So we'll save them for next week, where we'll be at your golf tournament. It'll be fun. Thank you for joining us.
Orlando, Florida.
Orlando. Yeah. Thank you for joining us for this episode of 6 Inning Stretch. Thanks for watching this video. If you want more interviews, analysis, or Blue Jays news from the 6 Inning Stretch, make sure to hit the subscribe button below or watch more of our content over here.